Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office. Excuse the mess, but I've been doing some CNCing and I just wanted to show you this. Yes, I have a custom phone case. This is my Poetic phone case for the OnePlus, but now it has this rather gorgeous back office logo. And you can see it's just exactly the same graphic as that, embossed onto that. And when I say embossed, I mean properly embossed. I'm going to show you what I did. I should have recorded myself doing this, but it was a test piece. You can see it's not perfect, but I think it sort of shows how good it can be. So I started to do a milling procedure. So I milled it out of the back of this case, and I started here. But the milling bit actually got bogged down getting crap off the case, so it's having a blob of melted plastic on the end, so it was getting very inaccurate. So by the time it got to the E, I'd gone out the room and come back, it was sort of getting worse and worse. I managed to clean it, and then I discovered the simple magic of something like label remover, a little bit of lubricant, and yeah, it just stops the plastic from clumping up, and then it went through and just did the rest. And it's incredibly sharp, considering I designed it to be cut with one of the sort of pointy chisel bits. Now I'll show you the actual bit I used. Well, this is the bit it was designed for. So it was designed to be cut with one of those, which is sort of the kind of thing you use on PCBs. But what I ended up using was a tungsten carbide. Here we go. One of these bits. You can see they're really available in quite small sizes. Look at that, the size of my fingernail to that thing. 0.4 millimeters that one is, which is a bit like dust. But I would have used one of these ones, which is, we can read it there, well, 1/32th whatever that is, 1/32nd of something. It looks to me about a mil. So you can see the profile is totally different. So whereas this one would plunge just the tip in, this one sort of goes, you know, deep in there. It's a little bit wider, you see, than the computer thinks, because the computer thinks it was only cutting 0.15 of a mil deep on this, but actually, because this is a curved piece of plastic, it went quite deep. So once it goes quite deep with a bit like this, you can see it's cutting a bit wider, so you lose some of the detail. But frankly, look at the size of my fingernail. We're not losing much detail. It's not like you're trying to plot it at a massive accuracy. So yeah, I really apologise I didn't record any video of that being milled, because it was a bit of an experiment. And once it was sort of milled out, I then used a bit of wax crayon, and that's literally something I just stole off the kids. And I used my hot air blower to drip the wax into that. And I heated the whole thing, and then used just a bit of wood like this with a sharpish edge and scrape the excess away, and that's what's left. And once it cools and hardens, it's a very bright, sharp relief. I think I've got some label remover on there. Interestingly enough, label remover seems to be able to lift wax too, so if you want to get a smoother finish, you put a bit of label remover and just rub that in. But yeah, it's very tactile. You can just sort of feel it's there. It's not printed on. Bit of a shame about the blurriness there, but you know, if I did it again, it'll be totally sharp. That's fine. I'll just optimize it for that cutting bit. So that's really the process. I guess I can't avoid doing something, so I'm going to turn on the machine, and we'll, painstaking as it is, hold the camera up and sort of film some of this going on. I might just do a few letters, and we'll do the process of just a few letters. I found something to work in our experiment. It's this really the worst, most awful precision screwdriver set I've ever found in the shops. And the plastic is so thin, I'm in danger of blowing straight through that. But I'm going to try to print the back office show on here. And if it works out, you can win this. You can win this amazing screwdriver set with a couple of bendy Phillips screws and looks like a brad awl, and this is just a round punch for some reason. Not sure what you're going to be doing with that. And some, you know, lots of flat bits, which nobody needs anymore. Look at this, and this thing here, which is saying no alarm clock. So this is a no alarm clock tool. So that's absolutely everything you want. Let's set that up in the jig. So I'll just let you know what I've got. I've got the design here in this CAD package, and this shows the cutting tool. This allows me to control the milling machine. Just zoom out a bit, you can see a bit more. Get rid of this cable. And I've mounted the half of the screwdriver set in here, and I've sort of used these very crude wing nuts and a couple of plastic boxes I had lying around to offer a sort of cantilever. So I've set the drill into the centre, the milling bit into the centre. We'll just zoom in a bit so you can see it. And when I draw the picture, I set the origin dead in the middle, so that seems to be the better place if you want to place a logo, because you know whereabouts it's going to be if you do that rather than top edge. This plastic is actually curving, so I don't know if we might really perforate this. I'm just not sure at this point. I guess we don't really care though, do we? So I'm going to fire that off. So here's the software, it's ready to go. I'm just going to raise the cutting head, because occasionally it did drag across the surface unintentionally, so I'm just going to raise that up. It's all zeroed now. Up. I'm moving it up by fractions of a millimetre, but you can see it probably one more. There you go. And I'm going to hit send, which starts it all off. And this is all just being run off my little tablet here. And there it goes. It's starting its merry journey. While it's doing that, it's not particularly interesting to see right now. I'll show you what's going on the screen here, because that software is quite cool. It's actually showing you exactly what it's up to, and it's doing a bit of a weird thing at the moment. It's trying to do this sharpening trick because it thinks it's got that conical shaped cutter, which obviously it hasn't, so it's messing around a bit. But it'll get into the steady work of grinding everything down in a bit. Really quite nice software, really. It's called GRBL Control, Gerbil Control, and yeah, it lets you do all the things, control the machine basically by hand, and set all the parameters up for actually executing the image files. Well, I say image files, G-code or Gerber or whatever it's in. And that's about it. We'll just leave it there, and this process actually, it's set to run really slowly because I wasn't sure how fast we could do. Ooh, the bit's starting to clog up already, so I haven't done my trick of getting a bit of lube in there. That'll be okay now, that'll be good. We'll come back in an hour and a half and see if it's done anything positive or it's ruined it all. Uh-oh, it's been about 38 minutes and I can see that we've actually cut through the actual unit now, the box. So, not sure if it's going to be worth continuing at this point, but we'll let it do what it wants to do. It's kind of just hovering there. Yeah, I think we're done. I think we're done with this. So I'm just going to click pause. And we have in the software a sort of cancel, basically. Take the item out. We definitely have punched through. There's a bit of a joypad hole there. Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of gone furry. It's not a particularly clean. It definitely says the back office. You can see it in the right light. But it's got a weird furry texture. I suspect that's to do with the sort of plastic that this is made of. Right, so where is our wax crayon? Okay, so here's my wax crayon. It took me a while to find that, actually, embarrassingly. So it's holding this up at this angle that you can see it nicely, kind of a relief there. Let's see what happens when we... So the idea, and it's not really working here, if you've got a firmer material, one that doesn't go so soft basically, you rub the wax crayon and fill the cavity. It's storing a bit, it is storing a bit. You fill the cavity film a cavity with it, and then you kind of wipe it off again. To be honest, you've got different options. You can sort of heat it up, or and then wipe it off, and then wipe it off, heat it up. You know, it's like a process depending on how you want to do it. But I'm telling you, it really isn't working very well. You can kind of see back office there. Let's try some heat then. I have this set to just a, it's not particularly hot. This is the hot air blower, which is just here. I'm going to rub a bit more wax into it though before I apply more heat. And I'm just going to see if it can melt into anywhere, suitable, a suitable orifice. But the chances are this plastic probably has a really low melting temperature, probably lower than the wax. Yeah. Let's just give it another wipe. I'm going to put some label remover on it. That seemed to be quite nice at removing the surface wax. Yeah. Nah. Smells lemony though. Unfortunately, that's kind of the best we can get. It's pretty lame. So just give you a side-by-side comparison though. It does pay to work out what materials you really should be using, because you can't even compare these two, can you? But that's that. This is up for grabs. Please send me a message. Say wubba lubba lub dub, and I'll post this to you, and you get some amazing screwdrivers with a bit of a crap back office logo. I was going to say back office Bakogo. Yeah, Bakogo. That's what that's called now. These are my Bakogo and my Bakogo branded items. As ever, thanks for watching.